I was talking about the vowels in Hebrew, talking about the vowel forms and the nature of the long vowels. So now I can actually, in Hebrew, we discussed this sort of trapezoid shape that the linguistics people use to indicate where the vowels are on a person's tongue and on his palate and everything like that. Seen something like this before? Speech therapists and linguists study this. The IPA, they're the linguistics people. They have all sorts of different symbols. They couldn't just use the English alphabet or, let's say, the Greek alphabet to represent all the different vowel sounds that they could identify. So down here, you have the most simple ah sound, like a patach or an A. And up here, I think you have a U, which is a simple, the shuruk, the pure shuruk sound. And over here, you have a tirik, or a long E sound. See? That's how they do it. And there's actually all sorts of vowel sounds that a normal person can make with his mouth. Let's say the problem is for Israelis, native modern Hebrew speakers, they only produce 5 distinct vowel sounds their entire lives if they're only speaking Hebrew. And then they're trying to describe a host of sounds that actually fall out among these spectrums. They actually put lines over here and a line over here and a line down here to indicate the different qualities of these vowels. And there's vowels along this line and somewhere in the middle. So if you are trying to describe all these different vowel sounds, just using the sounds that you have, the language that you have also, for example, we saw that the way they're trying to describe the kamatz in classic Ashkenazic sound, classic Ashkenazic kamatz, and the way the Haredites are trying to do nowadays is basically the modern Hebrew cholam, which is a good approximation, but it's totally incorrect. That obviously it's its own sound. Cholam is its own sound, and what's supposed to be a kamatz is its own sound. Actually, we saw that cholam and kamatz exist somewhere over here. Where exactly is something else, but that's basically where we go from here. This idea, this is addressed by the Kuzari. And in some translations of Kuzari, they just skip this part. The Kuzari is using something that the Arabic linguists came up with, that all sounds are basically variations of the long U sound, the long E sound, and the long A sound. A, E, and U. Okay? Everything exists like a combination. So the cholam and the tzereh and the sagol are somewhere between these. They're combinations. Now, that has an allusion somewhere in a basic grammatical rule. Your son could tell me, you know about smichut? You never heard of it? You know about smichut, different forms? It's a difference between these two words. So I'll put them on the board. Now, these words look the same, but if I put the dots in, you'll see that they're different words. What's the difference? Well, what's the difference? They're referring to the same thing, right?
One is a contraction of something else.
No, the word is not contraction.
It's
called in English a
compound,
construct. Well, it becomes a complex. Becomes a compound something. It's called a construct state or smichut or other forms like connected, mechubar. Either way, this is called the nifrad or the nismach also, okay? Or just the standard form. In Arabic, they're pronounced mostly the same way nowadays in modern Arabic, right? House is just bait in Arabic, and they have bait something or other. That's the way it is. So this is the regular form, bayit, and this is the smichut form, bait. We mentioned this before, and many other nouns that have the yud in the middle over here, and they're pronounced mil-el. It means the accent the first syllable. It's bayit, not bayit, like the French speakers say. It's 2 syllables, ba and yith. That's the way it's supposed to be. But this smichut form, the construct state, is a single syllable, it's just bait, right? And you probably have, you can give me other examples of words that look like this. Give me an example. Another word that has a yud in the middle and is pronounced like this. The vowels are the same. Yeah, very good. Zayit. That's a good one. That's usually the second example we did. What's the construct form of zayit? Zayit. Okay, good. And there's a few more. For example, ayil, which is a ram, and the ayil in the smichut is ale. And ayin, meaning none. Okay, aleph yud nun. When you say, Shimon einenu is a form of ayin, and sometimes like that, it's ayin with a kamatz when it's the end of a syllable, what's the end of a sentence. How do you say ayin something? There is no something. It becomes ain. So ayin even has a smichut form. Okay. And why you say fountain, that's with an ayin, the letter ayin. Just a stam of fountain or a type of well would be an ayin. And if it's the fountain of some place, it's ain something or other. And many other examples. Similar to this, when you have a vav in the middle, you get words like, not such a good word, but you know how to pronounce this word. Benifrad, what is it? No, that's the sbichut. This is mawad, means death. Okay. In Arabic, they replace the vav with the yud like consonant, so it's mayit. Right? Yamil mayit means the Dead Sea. That's why it's called the Dead Sea in English. The proper translation of Dead Sea would be sea of salt or salt sea. So, or what about this word? Is this word that people still use? It's in the Bible, and technically it should be in the dictionary. You've seen this word before? Tawech. It means the contents of something. The sbichut form of tawech is toch. Okay? Within the contents of something. And the sbichut form of death is the death of something would be mot. Yeah. So now you can see what's something else going on here. Know any other examples of words like this? There's a few in the Torah. Basically, any word, try to think of single syllable words with a cholam in the middle, and it's usually written full. So one thing that does exist is kol. That just exists like this. I've never seen the word kawel. But there is a word over here, which means a type of unfairness. Awel. So that becomes ol in regular Hebrew. And avel, it's also ol with an ayin. Yeah. So you have a few words like this. What's happening here, technically, from a very strict grammatical standpoint, is we're shortening the word. I can identify 3 consonants in all these words. Bet yud taf, zayin yud taf, aleph yud nun. We hear all the consonants the way we say it, right? You hear it. The first consonant's on its own, and the next 2 consonants make one closed syllable. Ba yit, za yit, ayin. In the sbichut form, we're contracting it all into one syllable. Bait is one syllable, one closed syllable. But the transformation of the patach and the chirik before the yud sound, after the yud sound, into a singular tzerei preserves all of the consonants. When you say bait properly, or baith, you still hold your consonants, right? Because the yud is included in the sound of the vowel. Baith. Same thing going on over here. When you say toch instead of tawech, originally you heard three consonants: the taf, the vav, and the chaf. But now, when you say toch, you can hear all of them, and you've coalesced basically all of the consonants into one syllable. The middle consonant is what we call semi-vowel. So here it's a true consonant, but in the sbichut form, it becomes part of the inner vowel sound. Now, why is this important? Because it shows us, like the Kuzari was trying to say, that what we understand as a tzerei exists somewhere between the patach and the chirik. The coalescence of what should be a patach sound and a yud making a chirik sound become a tzerei sound, which is somewhere along here. So too, what should be a kamatz, which is more closely over here, coalescing with the shiruk or the vav, brings us to a cholam sound. The cholam is the long O sound is also located somewhere around here, and this actually has a lot of significance. This explains why certain names exist as they do. Basically, if you see a cholam in many places, it might be the coalescence of a kamatz / patach with a shuruk. So where does this come up? In Arabic. How do they say day? They say yom, right? Just like we say. But how do they say tzom, a fast day? You know, they say tzaum. It's the au sound, the ow sound. And there's a few more examples like that. So when you see it tzerei, you have to think of it perhaps as a patach and a yud sound that coalesced. And when you see a cholam, sometimes it's kamatz and a vav sound that coalesced. Okay. And we'll leave it for that. There's some amazing ideas in there. Remember this because I don't know. No one gives shurim about these types of things. This isn't the type of thing you hear other places, but this isn't. Yeah. Well, I don't know. It's not part of Ulpan.
I got through Ulpan bit.
Okay, well, it's not part of, they don't really, maybe they teach it in university. I don't know that if they discuss these types of things. But this is type of things that you could get if you read Jacinius and Radak and, those types.